I was in a chat room last evening. Well, actually, it was into the morning, and somebody posted this or posted a video in the room about the meteorite, and we'd already been talking about the meteorite that was going to come very close. Actually, closer than Earth-bound satellites or Earth-orbiting satellites, to be more exact. And we were discussing the possibility of, well, what if a piece of this meteorite broke off? Meteor or asteroid, I don't know what it is. But anyway, whichever, what if a piece of it broke off and struck the ground? And we were saying, my God, and we watched the first video and you hear the boom! Not the boom, it was more of a crack. And it was quite scary. And we were going on about it, and she's trying to figure out what it was. It was a scientific debate room. Obviously, the topic had changed to the meteorite from what we were talking about. Basically, quantum exclusion principle. But it was amazing, and it kept me up pretty darn late. Like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was so tired that, and yet my mind was focused. I was so tired that I fell against the wall and fell on the floor. And I sat there with my phone. I was still in the chat room. And I sat there against the wall and dragged myself into my computer room, put my main computer on, and sat there in my chair and watched it. Got back into the chat room and chat discussions went on and on. I guess I was up for past 3 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know, but it was quite interesting. But one thing that hit me, and I said it to the people in the room: the cracking sound, the loud crack, and the energy wave that set off car alarms and shattered windows, damaged office buildings, etc., schools and everything. And forced evacuations didn't necessarily have to be caused by an impact. It could have been the entire meteorite or asteroid, whichever one it was, crossing the transonic threshold, and you get that crack. Whereas if you're crossing the sound barrier, which is a lower speed, you get the boom. Because the transonic is a higher frequency, and you get that crack. Now, I could be wrong, and people found it quite interesting when I introduced the possibility. And it's going to be interesting to hear if on the local news or on CNN and that they come to the same conclusion that I did. Question: was there an actual impact? Did a piece of this asteroid or meteorite impact the ground? Now, something else to keep in mind. In our area, this meteorite will be in our area around 11 a.m. this morning. And if a piece of it has broken off and hit the ground in Russia, could another piece break off? Now, I should also mention that NASA has said that it was going to come pretty close. Like I said, closer than Earth-bound satellites, Earth-orbiting satellites, but we were safe. And if a piece did break off and hit the ground in Russia, could another piece break off and hit us? Rather than being frightened, a lot of people find this an unfolding story. In fact, an unfolding mystery. And it's fascinating to figure out what's going on. Because it's amazing, not what we don't know about science and physics, but what we do know. I just don't understand what we know. It made me realize, with a single thought, the conclusion that hit me, that with the sound that was in that video, doesn't require a piece of the meteorite or asteroid breaking off and hitting the ground. You could still have all that damage, because when you cross the transonic threshold, you get that energy wave being released. But if a piece of the asteroid has broken off, that could be a problem. They say now 250 people injured, which is consistent with, once again, the asteroid/meteorite simply crossing the transonic threshold. Interesting, isn't it? Well, if you don't understand why it's so fascinating, then I guess you just don't get it. It's an unfolding mystery, more exciting than a soap opera. It's happening. Turn the page of history. See how it unfolds, because you're part of it. Regardless of what happens, it's going to directly affect. Here's something else. And this is physics. If a piece of the asteroid did break off, it would affect its trajectory. And it would depend from where the piece broke off. If it broke off from the top, It could act as thrust, pushing the meteorite downwards more, or just weakening the whole thing. Could it shatter more? More pieces break off and hit the ground? Could the whole thing shatter? Good question. You think about it. It's a mystery. Anyway, turn the page of history. Find out. Anyways, I'm one person who's looked at this. I know there are a lot of people in that chat room right now that are abuzz with ideas. And a lot of those people in that chat room are educated people. And it's quite amazing the knowledge they bring to that chat room. And they have the credentials. They prove who they are by simply showing us what website their name is on, and it shows a picture of the person. You look and see the same person on the webcam. You know this person works for NASA, this person works at this university, they're a physicist, they're this, they're that, they're into this or that field of the sciences. And that chat room was the most exciting place on the bloody planet last evening. Definitely worth staying up for. Anyways, think about everything I've said and we'll talk later sometime. Or, just blog here on Facebook and think about it. Anyways, communicate with you again later. Bye-bye.
People in the Urals in Russia have seen burning objects raining down from the sky after a meteorite exploded above the Earth, causing a meteor shower. Eyewitnesses reported several blasts rocking the region and as long trails of smoke in the air. And RT's Lucy Gafanov has more now. So, Lucy, what's going on there?
Hi there, Yulia. Well, remember, imagine you're driving to work on a beautiful, calm Friday morning, and suddenly a massive fireball appears out of nowhere in the sky. You're thinking to yourself, is this a plane crash? Is this a rocket attack, a UFO? Well, when it comes to the Urals region in Chelyabinsk, the city in Russia, it's actually a meteor shower. This is what took place this morning. Really stunning images that you're seeing there right now. Now, what we know from officials, according to officials and eyewitnesses, is that a series of explosions, possibly 5 to 6, took place when this meteor exploded in the air, raining down molten hot debris onto the ground. Now, this has caused widespread panic in at least 3 cities. Witnesses reported the walls of houses shaking, windows being blown out, cell phones even reportedly stopped working in some areas. Now, we're still getting the details. Details are still slowly coming in from officials, but what we know so far is that there are no casualties, no massive injuries. At least that's what we're hearing at the moment. There has been some concern about potential small injuries at a school, unconfirmed. So some schools are reportedly being evacuated. We're also hearing that a zinc factory was hit